9 Golden Age stars with shockingly low IQs. Hollywood's Golden Age gave us some of cinema's most glamorous and beloved stars. Their faces lit up the silver screen. Their names sparkled on mores. And their images defined American beauty and sophistication for generations. But behind those dazzling smiles and perfectly delivered lines lurked a surprising secret that studios worked desperately to hide. The camera doesn't capture IQ. A former MGM executive once remarked, "Sometimes that was the greatest special effect of all." During Hollywood's Golden Age, studios conducted extensive testing of their contract players, not just for camera presence and acting ability, but for basic intelligence and comprehension. These confidential assessments, revealed decades later through memoirs and studio archives, paint a startling picture of the cognitive abilities behind some of cinema's most iconic faces. Tonight, we reveal the 9 Golden Age stars whose reported IQ scores shocked directors, frustrated co-stars, and required extraordinary behind-the-scenes efforts to compensate for their intellectual limitations. Some of these beloved performers reportedly tested at levels considered borderline intellectually disabled, yet managed to build legendary careers through a combination of other talents and careful studio management. Then that in the end, my husband will win this one. Marilyn Monroe. The brilliant image, struggling mind, Marilyn Monroe remains one of Hollywood's most enduring icons. A symbol of both sensuality and vulnerability, whose films continue to captivate audiences decades after her death. Behind her carefully crafted image, according to studio records and associate testimonies, was a woman who reportedly struggled with basic cognitive functions. Reported IQ 82 noted a former acting coach who worked with Monroe. Studio teachers said she had great difficulty retaining simple information. Despite her charm, she struggled with logic and comprehension in table reads. This reported score, well below the average range of 90 to 110, placed Monroe in what psychologists classify as the low, average category. If accurate, it suggests significant limitations in processing and retaining information consistent with the on-set difficulties described by directors and co-stars throughout her career. They said she was a genius at seduction and hopeless at everything else. Recall the production assistant who worked on Some Like It Hot. She might need 40 takes for a single line, but when she finally got it, there was this magic that made the struggle worthwhile. Monroe's intellectual limitations reportedly manifested in various ways throughout her career. She frequently arrived late to sets, allegedly because she struggled to understand scheduling. She required extraordinarily detailed direction for even simple scenes. Most notably, she often seemed unable to remember dialogue, necessitating multiple takes that frustrated directors and co-stars. Billy Wilder, who directed Monroe in Some Like It Hot, famously complained about her inability to remember even simple lines. For the line, "Where's the bourbon?" Monroe allegedly required over 50 takes, repeatedly getting the words wrong despite their simplicity. What makes Monroe's story particularly compelling is how she leveraged other attributes. Her extraordinary beauty, unique screen presence, an innate understanding of her sexuality's power to build a legendary career despite her reported cognitive challenges. Her limitations became part of her mystique, contributing to the vulnerable quality that made her performances so affecting. Monroe wasn't book smart, but she had an emotional intelligence that was off the charts, explained a film historian. She understood desire and vulnerability in ways that more intellectually gifted actors never could. That's why she remains an icon while many smarter contemporaries have been forgotten. Oh, you're a little beautiful country. It's so clean and spotless and wonderful and beautiful. 2. Jane Mansfield, the manufactured intelligence. Jane Mansfield built her career as both a sex symbol and an intellectual, claiming an IQ of 149 and frequently mentioning her violin playing and language skills in interviews. According to Hollywood insiders, this genius-level intelligence was one of Hollywood's most audacious publicity fabrications, concealing a woman who allegedly struggled with basic comprehension. reported IQ 149, but insiders claim 85 at best, said a former publicity agent who worked with Mansfield. Publicity claimed she was brilliant, but multiple directors said she couldn't follow basic blocking. Rumor: a studio insider leaked her actual aptitude tests. Barely above functional, Mansfield's intellectual facade included carefully staged photographs showing her reading philosophical works. Claims that she spoke multiple languages and publicity about her classical music training. Behind this cultivated image, according to those who worked closely with her, was a woman who allegedly struggled to follow simple directions and often didn't understand the meaning of her own dialogue. She was smart enough to fake smart, and that was the real trick, noted a former co-star. Jane understood that playing dumb wasn't enough to stand out. Plenty of actresses did that. But playing a bombshell who quoted Plato, that was marketing genius, even if it was completely fictional. What makes Mansfield's case particularly interesting is the possibility that the strategy itself might have demonstrated a kind of intelligence. Not the academic brilliance she claimed, but a shrewd understanding of publicity and image management. By positioning herself as both sex symbol and intellectual, Mansfield created a unique public persona that distinguished her from competitors like Monroe. There's a certain genius in recognizing what the public wants and giving it to them, even if you have to fake it, explained a Hollywood historian. Mansfield may not have had the IQ she claimed, but she understood something crucial about marketing herself that many smarter stars missed entirely. Mansfield's intellectual pretensions became a running joke among directors and co-stars who marveled at the disconnect between her public claims and on-set reality. Yet, they also recognized that the fabrication served its purpose, creating a distinctive brand in a crowded field of blonde bombshells, competing for roles and public attention on 105th Street in the Flower Hospital. Flower Hospital. Huh? Is it still there? It's still there. Yeah. 3. Tony Curtis, the pretty face with basic challenges. Tony Curtis transformed himself from Bernie Shevarts of the Bronx into one of Hollywood's most bankable leading men, starring in classics like Some Like It Hot and Spartacus. Behind his stunning good looks and eventual acting prowess, according to studio assessments and his own later admissions, was a man who reportedly struggled with intellectual basics. Reported IQ 90 revealed a former Universal Pictures executive. Curtis admitted in his memoir that reading was difficult and scripts overwhelmed him. One producer allegedly said he's a 90 and 80 of those points are in his cheekbones. This reported score placed Curtis at the bottom of the average range, suggesting limitations that might not be immediately apparent, but could significantly impact his ability to process complex information and master difficult material. These challenges reportedly manifested in Curtis's early career difficulties with script comprehension and line memorization. He looked like a god and thought like a 10th grader on spring break, recalled a veteran script supervisor. Early in his career, they had to break everything down for him. Simple sentences, basic motivations, but he had something that couldn't be measured on any IQ test, an incredible instinct for how to use his face and body on camera. Curtis himself acknowledged his intellectual limitations later in life, discussing his struggles with reading and comprehension in interviews and his autobiography. These admissions lent credibility to earlier reports of his cognitive challenges, while also highlighting how determination and natural talent could overcome such obstacles. What distinguishes Curtis from some others on this list is his eventual growth as a performer. Despite his reported intellectual limitations, he developed into an accomplished actor capable of nuanced performances in films like The Defied Ones, for which he received an Academy Award nomination. This evolution suggests that whatever his cognitive starting point, Curtis possessed significant emotional intelligence and capacity for growth. Curtis may not have been naturally brilliant, but he was a brilliant student of acting, explained a former co-star. He watched, he learned, he developed. By the end of his career, you'd never guess he'd started with such basic limitations. That's a different kind of intelligence that IQ tests don't measure. Music 4. My Van Doren, beauty that outshone comprehension. My Van Doren emerged in the 1950s as one of Hollywood's platinum blonde bombshells, building a career on her extraordinary beauty and sex appeal. Behind her stunning appearance, according to studio records and co-worker accounts, was a woman who reportedly struggled with basic concepts and on-set instructions. Reported IQ 84 noted a former assistant director who worked with Van Doren often confused on set. A director once said she didn't know left from camera. Left once asked if they filmed in real color or pretend color. This reported score placed Van Doren in what psychologists classify as the low average range, suggesting significant limitations in processing information and understanding abstract concepts. These cognitive challenges allegedly manifested in her difficulty grasping technical aspects of film, and sometimes even basic directional instructions. She lit up the screen, but